And then the images of Israelis, men, women, children, babies, elderly, Holocaust survivors, being kidnapped and taken back to Gaza. Each one of them being represented by the placards that you can all see. Over 1,400, the largest number of Jews killed in a single day since the Holocaust, were murdered. 229 kidnapped and held hostage and taken back to Gaza. A pogrom happening before our eyes. Make no mistake, it was a pogrom. Most Western leaders condemned Hamas and acknowledged Israel's right to defend itself. But after 24 hours or so of silence, finally the leaders of Labour, National and ACT followed suit. And then before we even started to bury some of our dead, before hundreds had been accounted for, before Hamas terrorists had even been cleared from Israeli towns and villages by the IDF, we saw those who hate Israel, those who hate Jews, claiming we were lying, harmed, claiming Israeli troops had killed their own. It took about 20 to 30 years or so for Holocaust denial and Holocaust revisionism to become a thing. Now that denial, revisionism, and blood libels started happening within about 20 to 30 minutes. And then when Israel began to retaliate, as would any country in that situation, the justifications for Hamas, a terrorist organization, began to come through. Leaders and MPs from the Green and the Maori Party making false accusations and taking the side of terrorists. Those same MPs who, like all of us, were appalled, sickened and shocked at what happened in New Zealand in Christchurch, now justifying terrorism against Israel because it was against Jews. And if they did condemn Hamas, it was through gritted teeth. But let's make a mistake. Hamas, all of Hamas, is a terrorist organization. There is no excuse for what happened on the 7th of October. There is no justifications. There is no, it was terrible what happened, but. There is no but. It is the exact opposite. You either condemn Hamas outright and accept Israel's right to respond to protect its people, or you stand on the side of terrorists. A terrorist group that does not represent or does not care for the Palestinians. A terrorist group that is now widely recognized as worse than ISIS. And when we hear people chanting, and when we would tell people that chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, meant the calling for the annihilation of Israel and the murder of 7 million Jews there, we were told, no, that's not the case. It's a call to live together in harmony. We saw on the 7th of October that unfortunately we were right. And that's exactly what it meant. And then there's the accusations that Jews are white Western colonialists, and this was an act of decolonization. Like that would be a justification. But let's not forget that Jews are the indigenous people of the land of Israel. Yes. We are Tana Te Whenua. We have had a continuous presence in the land of Israel and have a historic and spiritual connection there. You can't colonize your own land. Rather than Zionism being celebrated as the coming home of a people gaining self-determination, it is derided and attempts made to delegitimize it. Why? Because a good Jew is a submissive Jew. Yesterday at this very spot, at this anti-Israel rally, we heard Joe Carolon of the Unite Union call to globalize the Intifada, a call to violently kill Jews anywhere. That is incitement to violence. and he should be prosecuted. Contrast that with this rally, where we're praying for the safety of all civilians from both sides and for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages held in Gaza. And we also call on the incoming government to prescribe the whole of Hamas, not just the paramilitary ring, as a terrorist organisation. Again, we call on the world to continue demanding for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages in Gaza. The people of Israel will prevail. The people of Israel will live on. Am Yisrael Chai.